Right. Here we go. All right. I believe that we're feeding out to the folks out there. I will give everyone a couple of minutes to get all set up, but also let us know how our audio's doing, if everything's working the way that it should be working. As I usually do, I'm going to remind all you folks out there to go to hankstrange.com, sign up for our email list. Very important thing to do in these times when, who knows, we could come in here one day and YouTube's kicked us out and all that kind of stuff. So check out hankstrange.com. Lola has lots of different links. She shares deals and things like that up there. But also we've got patches. Now we've got 3 patches, and I don't really know how to hold all 3 of the patches. There we go. Let's see if we can do this.
You're right.
Yeah, so here, let's see. We got this going. So the new one is this one, which is 2020 was hell in a handbasket. And you guys could get that. You guys can get any one of these patches at hankstrange.com. If you buy a patch, several patches, we're going to throw in some stickers. Lola usually throws in a lot of swag and stuff like that. So there's a sticker that goes along with that. Basically my logo with a grenade exploding. All right, so there you go. That's that. Just wanted to get that out of the way. And let me load my guest in here. All right. I'm gonna hit the start button. We're gonna get going here. Please, everyone, smash the thumbs ups. Share this if you can. I really do appreciate that. We got to keep the numbers up, get the numbers going here. As well as big shout out and thank you to Franklin Armory for sponsoring us here. And let's get into this.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange
Boom!
Situation.
All right, welcome back, guys.
Lifestyles of the
Smash the
Lost and
subscribe, smash the thumbs ups, ring the bell to be notified every time we go live. Czar Llewellyn, am I saying the last name properly?
Yes, you are. Good
So,
Welsh name means
yeah.
lion-like in Welsh. Llewellyn if you're in Wales.
Oh, it's Welsh. Okay, very cool, very cool.
Yes, it is. All day long.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We have a tradition here. Everyone has to do it. It's called Jazz Hands. Goes like this. Let's get the jazz hands going. There we go.
As long as I have to wear some leotard, I'm fine.
No. I'm not going to make you do that right now. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on out there because we are live and we're going to have, I feel it's going to be a fun conversation here with Czar. I think it's going to be easy and fun. So come on into the show here. Ask us questions, all that kind of stuff. Thanks for coming in. This is episode 693 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Hank Strange. And as I said, our guest is Czar Llewellyn of Peacetime38. He's an artist, a watchmaker, a gun guy.
Yes, I am.
Did I get all those things? I'm sure you're some
like
other
cars,
things.
We like all kind of stuff.
A car guy.
And we do a lot of work for poor folks in South America and a place like that.
Yeah. So Night Train, right off the back, Night Train says, is it Czar, Tuzar? He spelled it the Zaxxr. I was saying Zaxxr the way your name is spelled, by the way. I'm not too ashamed.
I used to have a girl, she liked me. She used to call me Czar, but she was pretty. So she can call me whatever she wanted. But at the end of the day, you know what? If you buy watches, make your world better, you can call me anything but a few words.
Right.
A few words, call me whatever you want. I'm not that guy.
If you're a beautiful woman, you could call me anything.
Anything.
Just call me. By the way, short stack shooter. This is the first time I'm seeing short stack shooter. I don't know if you know short. Actually, the picture on there looks familiar, like someone I just followed on IG. But short stack shooter says jazz hands. So thanks out there for the jazz hands. Shout out to everyone who's out there. As you guys are coming in, smash the thumbs ups and share this. This is going to be a great conversation. I like having these one-on-one conversations with folks. Brian Quick wants to know what's wrong with leotards or leggings. As Joe would say, come on, man. And he's joking.
Well, bottom line is that I don't want to see myself in them.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not as skinny as I used to be.
I see myself in the shower every day. That's enough.
Yeah, and I suffer from something called no acetol. I don't know if you so
I don't have one either, so it is.
Yeah, I would not look good in those sci-fi movies where dudes are walking around.
You see people wearing these sausage pants who ride bikes and everything else. A buddy of mine, he's a big time bike guy. He does a lot. He does a lot for a lot of corporations.
Yeah.
And like they always wear those things. I just think, okay,
Yeah.
not me.
Well, the yoga,
Not for
I
me.
mean, all respect to the ladies out there and everything. I get it. The women are powerful. I believe that women have a lot of power over me as a man. For sure. But I have this conversation with Lola all the time. The yoga pants.
Mhm.
There should be licenses. Not everyone should roll around. And I mean, and it's not that there's some people out there who don't have the right figure for the yoga pants, but some of these things are bordering on it's right on the edge. It's right on
Well,
the
no,
edge.
my thought with that, particularly if you are of a larger size, which a lot of people are,
Hmm.
America is the ninth most obese country in the
Hmm.
world rather.
Hmm.
The point being is that I think that sometimes so that how could it be comfortable for you? You know what I mean? I mean, I wear sweatpants every day. I love
Hmm.
sweatpants. But
Hmm.
the point being is that, those they just seem really tight and
Well,
constricting.
well,
I
yoga
don't,
pants for the women, the technology of yoga pants has come a long way. There's some very inventive people out there. And so, of course, America does have all shapes and sizes. Some of
amen to
us,
that.
me included, are overweight. But, there's some dudes that like big booties. So even
Yes.
people with big booties are putting it as all kinds.
My nephew.
There's yoga pants now that have cleavage for the ladies built into it, if you understand my meaning. Seriously, all these things are
You
designed.
call it cleavage?
Whatever. I mean, it's early in the show. I don't know
I
how.
call it easy access.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how far we could go before I get in. Yeah, Lola says borderline explicit. And if dudes were doing this, we'd be stuffing our yoga pants. If we were dudes, we'd be.
Yeah.
I would get specialized equipment to put in there, just
There are
so that.
actually people who do that. There are actually
Yeah.
people who actually they augment their whatever they're doing,
Mhm.
and it's like, wow, that's just too much work.
Yeah.
This is
And,
too much
and
work.
as a gun guy, I've seen women that are gun guys or gun women, however you want to say it, and they rock yoga pants too, and they're still strapped up.
That would be a really interesting visual for me.
Yeah.
You know
Um.
what? You know the outline of a pistol, obviously, but
Mhm.
it would just be it'd be. But in some ways, it makes sense because often women are often, unfortunately, because of the world we live in,
Mhm.
they can be under duress for any number
Mhm.
of reasons.
Mhm.
And if you have a means to protect yourself, you should.
Yeah, you absolutely should. And it's tough. Like women's so jeans for dude. I like I used to wear a lot of cargo pants because I like having a lot of pockets. But then it looks
I
too
love
tactical.
pockets.
Yeah, but cargo pants looks too tactical. So when you're a gun guy, I started noticing people. It's not even so much that people identify you as a gun guy. A lot of people kept saying, "Oh, you're in the military," and I go, "No, I'm not in the military or law enforcement or anything." And then some people assume that. So I wanted to be more gray man, blend into the background. So I got jeans that are actually cargo pants, but all the pockets are hidden.
Oh, I love that hidden because I love pockets because I
Yeah.
always I'm always fabricating. I'm always picking up something. I always
Hmm.
have some equipment or something that I'm working with, and
Yeah.
so for me, I love pockets.
Yeah.
But I've discovered a couple years back. I discovered sweatpants.
Hmm.
I believe sweatpants are one of the greatest inventions in the history of the world. I don't get, no, no,
Why?
no. I mean, there's electricity, there's sweatpants,
Hmm.
and there's duct tape,
Yeah.
but they're just so comfortable. I
Yeah.
mean, they're just so, but they don't have the pockets on them. That's the problem. They don't have the pockets.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Someone should probably make sweatpants with stuff. I used to wear a lot of sweatpants when I was younger and skinnier, and a lot sexier than I am now, which I know is hard to believe, but I used to be in my younger days. I was pretty irresistible, and I wore sweat. Like I grew up in New York
Proud to be your
City.
friend.
Huh? I grew up in New York City, so I would wear sweatpants and Timberlands.
Yes.
But
And Timberlands?
yeah, New York
That's kind of
City.
much.
Yeah, you have to have multiple pairs of Timbos in New York
Okay,
City.
with sweatpants.
Yeah, with sweatpants, absolutely.
That's
And
the
I would
look.
have like one leg pulled up, but it's true. Like, but now I don't wear sweatpants as much, except like in the house and stuff like that. And I
No, I
took.
wear. I
Oh,
wear them
okay.
to work. I would wear them to anywhere. I don't wear them when I'm in the Middle East. I don't wear sweatpants
Hmm.
when I'm at meetings. But usually I'm wearing something else. I'm wearing traditional clothing.
Okay.
But, and those also really, really comfortable, frankly. But I like comfort because, I mean, I literally, because of how I make my living designing these wonderful things, it doesn't really matter what I look like, necessarily. So people are buying the work, and so I can actually show up in sweatpants and whatnot, and so it's fine, So it's my life lends itself to the casual nature of it, but also for me, comfort is really important because I work a lot. If I had the ability to work 24 hours a day, I probably would. I enjoy it that much. So for me, it adds to my level of comfort, and I think it also adds to my mental health because being physically comfortable helps you be mentally comfortable.
To relax, yeah. By the way, I see people saying, there's several people, All Thumb says there are cargo sweatpants, and Matt Morrison says I have a pair of cargo sweatpants.
He can send them to me.
Yeah, Chris Bulla says they make sweatpants with cargo pockets.
Yeah, I love those, and because it's a comfort. There's a comfort involved in that, and I just love that. But I found it interesting when you spoke about a woman having a concealed weapon in in the yoga pants. I found that.
Well, some of those yoga pants come up over so they come up high. So I guess if you're wearing the yoga pants and then you're wearing some kind of t-shirt over it, because it comes up high, I guess, to like above your belly button. And because and there's a lot of women that wear the belly band type of stuff that structures. See, women get to structure everything, right? So you don't really know when someone jumps out of those. They might look just banging in some yoga pants, and then they jump out of there. It might be a completely different scenario. Like I'm gonna get you, sucker, if you ever saw that movie.
Which is interesting because I see that a lot. All that as a guy, I don't wear things that that constrict me or that can maybe hide my belly or something like that. I just think that's a little bit much for me personally.
Right.
I wouldn't want to do that, but others do. But as men, we kind of, some would say we're not, but some of us are. We feel we are kind of constricted in what we wear from societal standpoint. Some would say that, others would disagree. But no, but it's interesting. I have a question.
Go ahead.
How long? What is your favorite thing about doing a podcast?
What's my favorite thing about doing a podcast? Like what we're doing right now, just meeting people and having random conversations. There should be a structure to this. Lola at some point is going to come in here and say, how come you didn't ask him, like, where he grew up, give us the background or whatever. But I really like talking to people. That's it's like my drug, communicating with other human beings. So it's something I have fun doing.
I really appreciate the free flow of information. And with that, I think what you also do is provide people a safe place for them to just be who they are. Because often, I think from a societal standpoint, we often feel we got to do this or that or that or that or that or that. And it's nice to have an avenue where one can just speak freely and feel positive, feel appreciated, valued. And you do that, and that is an asset because not everybody can do that nowadays. And with so much dissension going on in this country, this world, it's nice to have a rather positive, uplifting environment where you can still have policy disagreements or otherwise, but not feel like you're demeaned or you're called out of your name in one form or another. So you're good at that, and that's a blessing, and not everybody can do that.
Oh, frankly, thanks. I appreciate that.
It seems like very few people can do that nowadays. Because people have a particular point of view, and if you don't work or live within the parameters that they espouse, you are deplorable, you're worse, you're this and that, you're a rat, whatever. And I don't know how that can ever help anyone to do anything or move forward, as a people, as a nation, as a community, as a world. So what you do is provide people with an outlet to express themselves, to share who they are, why they are, and the very nature of it. Before we got on the podcast, we were talking about just the idea of just concealed carry and why this and why that. Because I just think our experiences as people help to define us. Our experiences help to shape us. And so what you're doing is you're giving people the opportunity to say, this is who I am, but also give someone a reason why they are that person. And not everybody has that gift. Okay. So that's a blessing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You know what I think? I think it goes back to whatever's primal. The coding within our DNA, so to speak. If you go back to the beginning of time, we probably always sat around a fire and communicated with each other, and this is the best way that we really learned and told each other stories and, you know, passed on
Watch out
who
for
we
this,
are.
watch out for that, you know.
Yeah.
Don't eat that berry. Watch out for that animal. Don't sleep there or whatever. I think.
Yeah.
But you know, that's so elemental. But I think as technologically advanced as we think we are, we're still those same primates. We're still those same people.
Yep.
We still have the same basic needs, wants, and desires. And I think part of the problem nowadays is that people, they think they are divorced from the reality of our natural existence. They're divorced from their desires. They're divorced from this and that. Hey, we can fly now. No, you can't fly. You can get in something that can allow you to get up in the air, but no, you cannot fly. And so we're divorced often from reality. And I think that in and of itself may be one of the reasons why we have so many problems as a nation, because we forget that we are basically these creatures who sat by a fire eating meat, you know, and drinking water. You know, and we found a way from that to get from there to where we are right now. And though we may have progressed past that, we are still the same people who sat by that fire. That was in some ways our truest self when we sat by that fire. And I like that from a design standpoint, from a human standpoint, from a relationship standpoint, to live in basics. I was talking to my father. We talk about things often, and he'd always say the basics. Respect is job one. If someone doesn't respect you, don't deal with them. The other line he'd always say, one of my favorite lines he would say is that if people don't make you important, then you're not important to them. Just basic. That's a really basic elemental understanding of human behavior. And I think that in that, what we have done as a people, we've tried to move beyond that. We move beyond it, saying we are somehow above and better than our elemental selves. But that's a fool talking.
Yeah.
Because we can try to be, but we will never be what we innately are. And I think that's the blessing of what you do, the blessing of people just being who they are. There's one thing great about children, they are who they are. The really young kids, you know, it is what it is. And that is frustrating, but it also gives you more joy. Because when the smile comes, when they want to hug, they just want to hug. There's nothing behind it. Other than love. And I think that's such a critical understanding that we lose track of, or even the idea of carrying a weapon, the gun guy. What it is that I actually like shooting. I've been shooting for decades. I love shooting. To me, it's fun. It's one of the few things I do that I can do where I'm only thinking about making that target. I think of nothing else.
Yeah, it forces you to do that. It's almost like when, you know, a lot of people used to have to drive stick shifts. And we still have them out there. It's just more difficult to find. But that forces you to think about driving, and you become one with the machine. I think guns are the same way. You have to blend in with that machine in order for it to work right.
It really does help me, because I was up in the mountains. I was shooting during the pandemic because I had to go. I had to. You know, I can't be locked in a row. It doesn't work for me. And so I would always go out shooting with my nephew. Always go shooting, and we were driving back for the pass, and I thought to myself, wow, only thing I thought about when I was shooting was shooting. Usually I deal with people in different parts of the world almost on a daily basis, whether I'm dealing with people in Brazil, UAE, London, Ecuador, Argentina. I deal with so many different people all the time, and I'm having to go and move from Portuguese to Spanish to English. My Arabic sucks. And so I'm trying to go, and I'm doing that, or I'm working on different projects, or I'm dealing with family issues or personal issues. But I noticed when I was shooting, all I was doing was, you know, just hitting that target and loving it. So for me, it was so therapeutic. It was just fun. And that was, I just love it. For me, it just gave me that sense of peace that I need. So for me, it's almost quasi-religious from the standpoint of that I am one with, you know, my tool at that point. And I just really enjoy that. For me, have you been shooting much during this pandemic?
Yes, I have my own range in my backyard, so I still
It's called a show.
I mean, I know that's like a that's like a soft flex or whatever to some
No, we
people,
have
but
one up north.
mhm,
We have one up north. Okay, we
mhm,
have property up north. So
mhm,
we shoot it well. But I like going in the
mhm,
mountains, not just because you don't want the neighbors to go and be like we tell them like we don't want like, oh wow, they're shooting again. So yeah, I have to
mhm.
go in the mountains. But no,
Yeah,
but I actually like that. I mean, for
yeah,
me, I do. But I love shooting in the mountains. I
mhm,
love being, living in Montana all those years. I'm used to just being outside, or when I go to Alaska, just being outside. And so for me, I need that. I need that open space, that whole 9 yards. And
yeah,
living in the Northwest, I'm around
mhm,
pretty places.
yeah.
So
I
for
mean, I
me,
I enjoy I agree with you, and I think like I live out in the country here, so and in Florida it's kind of hot and humid, so it's not always fun. I don't want to make anyone think it's always fun, and I enjoy traveling out to shoot. I think during this whole thing, a few months ago, Lola and I went to New Mexico and we did some shooting
love it.
out in the desert. We did some long distance stuff, especially for me. And when you were talking about how therapeutic it is to shoot, I totally agree with you. A lot of people think it's this evil, destructive thing. There's evil, destructive people who turn it into that, right? And that's one method that they use to do bad things. But for the majority of us, okay, this is a thing that helps us unwind, and for me especially shooting long distance, this is a thing you have to really focus in on and think about what you're doing, and it's really challenging, and you're going up against just not yourself and the gun, but the elements and all that kind of stuff.
No,
I
for me,
never get tired of it.
it's just for me, it's just fun, and it's really therapeutic. I mean, I
Hmm.
know some extraordinary shooters
Hmm.
in parts of the world. They're phenomenal, and I'm also competitive. So I'm gonna be going back to Brazil, and be shooting with this one guy. He's a really good shooter.
Hmm.
But I said, I was telling a friend of mine. He's a Olympian shooter, and I would say that you got to make sure I'm winning. Because I'm Team America when I go down there. I'm Team America. And I said I'm old-fashioned Team America, which means I don't believe in that winning or nothing. I'm Team America. I have to beat these people. I'm
Yeah.
not going down shooting in Brazil and losing. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
You
I'm
got to
not going
represent for John
to.
Wayne, all the other shooters,
I'm not trying.
American Sniper, everybody. You
No,
got
no,
to,
no, 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 no. That is who I am. It's kind of because I'm extremely competitive.
yeah.
It is funny. So they have like literally they have like everything. They have. I mean, the gun collection was amazing. And then like, but no, no, like, oh no, we're gonna go shooting. I said I have to beat them.
Hmm.
One of my buddies, he's a spokesman for 6 Hour, and
Okay.
so they have people fly down there to Brazil, whatnot, to help him with his shooting. And my thought, and I thought, okay, so JD has all those people helping him, and my thought being, no, I will take him out no matter what. No, I will take him out. I love JD. I love him, but the bottom line, no, 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 no. There's only one flag that will stand after this. It's gonna be mine. So I'm going down
That's
there.
good. Listen,
I'm Team America.
absolutely. Amen. Listen, let's do this for the people. Just a little bit of structure for Lola, because she already came and gave me notes on the board. She wants to know, like, let's tell the folks who you are first. And for anyone out there, before we get into it, I just want to show you guys, I want to point you to a website that Czar is the owner of, and this it's Peacetime38.com, and if you take a look there, you'll see these beautiful watches that are made off of the cylinders, I believe, of Colt 38 Colts, right?
357.
57. Okay, there you go. 57 Colts.
Initially we're 38, but 38 is too small.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay,
they're all made from real guns.
right.
Every
And
last one.
you make these yourself, right?
Absolutely.
All right, and these are beautiful, and we're gonna actually get into this here and have a conversation about that. But first, let's do it. I mean, you guys could probably tell a lot about Czar just from our random conversation here. But who are you? Where does the name come from? Where do you come from? Let's start there.
Okay, Czar Llewellyn. As I always say, I'm a guy. I'm just a guy who's been to every state in the union, who travels the world, who creates amazing work. And the reason why I create amazing work is that if you're going to do anything, you do it well. I don't care what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, just don't get up. And so I started making things when I lived in Montana, last century. When I lived in Montana, many moons ago, I used to live in a log cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And
were you born in Montana? Did you grow up there?
No, I was born back east, but I moved to Montana as a teenager.
Okay.
And so
where were you born, if you don't mind me asking?
I was born in Jersey.
Jersey. Okay, both of my kids were born in Jersey.
That's why they're special.
Yeah, it depends what kind of special you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding.
Also, just on the side, I remember doing 9/11. Just an aside. I was in outside of Seattle area, and I remember how all the planes came down. And I remember because one of my good friends, he owns a really amazing fabric firm in New York, and I remember when I called him and I said, Tony, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm on the roof watching it. And I said, you get your butt down there and you get out of there now. I remember yelling at him because I was annoyed. I said, because I was worried about his safety. Mm-hmm. And but the thing this goes back to New Jersey. I remember how the only people who quote unquote fought back were the folks who left from Newark, because the folks who left from Newark Airport from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. If you live in New Jersey, you learn to fight. Mm-hmm. Not just physically, you fight in so many different levels. Mm-hmm. And there's a defiance you have when you're from that part of the world. And I remember doing that whole event, I remember thinking to myself, you want everybody to be okay, but there's a subtle pride I took in being from New Jersey, because they fought back. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in Jersey, you learn to fight. You learn to fight back. And frankly, throughout my life, it is that fighting nature, that willingness to not give in to what someone thought, which has defined me. So I always honor the fact that I was born in Jersey. I mean, it's been a long time since I was in Jersey, obviously a very long time, but there's certain lessons I learned from being in that kind of really competitive environment that helped me. And then from there, I lived in Montana, and Montana changed me in so many positive ways. I love the mountains, I love space, I love distance, but I remember I used to live in a log cabin by myself. I was 16, and I had no running water, no electricity. So I had to find a way to make it. I had to find a way to create an income. So there was always animal parts. There was always carcasses around. So I would start making things from the discarded animal parts. And then I remember I made a jelly spoon from a duck's bill because I needed a jelly spoon. I remember I made a backgammon board from ribs, and so I started because I found whatever I could find, and then I found.
It's like being a survivor on an island or something like that. What was the movie with Tom Hanks?
Yes, with the ball.
Yeah, you have to.
You find a way to make it work, and but through that, because my desire was to make things well, I did it. And the interesting thing about that, when I was young, but I found a way to work on things. I remember I was leaving, trying to go some other place at the time, and I had these things with me, and then I met this guy on the road. He liked it. This guy from Dawson, Canada, and he said, "Oh, those are really cool." And it was the first time someone did something like that for me. And he said, if you make some, you take them up. Dawson is east of Edmonton, and so he said, take them. I'll buy them. So I ended up making some stuff, and I went all the way up to Edmonton, and then I sold it. And that was the start. So I found a way to create something from nothing, or for something, and then people valued it, and that was the start of what I do. And that was interesting because it was a lesson, because I had to believe in myself. I had to go on faith, basically. And that has defined what I do, that ability to take anything. When I started making these watches, I was actually in
can you hold that up. Let's see if we can get it closer.
We make it even better. We make our own cases as well.
Oh, very nice. Okay, what kind of wood is that?
Which one is this one? This is mahogany inside. This one, ebony.
Ebony. Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's some high post wood right there.
Well, it is.
Where does that ebony come from?
Africa, East Africa, for that matter.
Oh, okay.
Kenya. And then so what we do is with the watches themselves, I was actually in Dubai with my nephew, and nephews plural. And
Mm-hmm.
so they love watches because in the Middle East they love watches. And I said, I want a watch that's unlike any other. So
Mm-hmm.
then I thought, but it had to be masculine because they're faithful Muslims. It wasn't going to be gold or diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that. So I thought about using guns. I'm used to guns. I've been around guns forever. And so that was the start of it. It took me over a year to figure out how to do it because I thought just cut it. No, 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 no. I had to find a way to go and mill everything down and within a thousandth of this, a thousandth of that. It became a very technical process.
Mm-hmm.
And then and I literally fabricate everything.
Yeah,
All
let's
this
take a
was
closer look if you can. Just hold it
it
up a
was
little bit.
not none of this
Hold
stuff
it up a
was
little bit higher. Okay, there you go. Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't bought. It wasn't it wasn't bought off the shelf. We literally fabricate
Wow.
everything.
Yeah.
We fabricate everything, and so I
And
had them.
that is that crocodile on the leather?
Of course,
Yeah. Okay. Very nice.
it's made in Paris. That's one thing we don't make because
Okay.
I do leather work, but they make a beautiful. The business make a beautiful band,
Mm-hmm.
and at my price points, it's for a model for Sao Paulo. I only make nine. Sao Paulos are my top of the line. There's a $16,000 per unit. I only make 9 a year.
Mm-hmm.
They're on sale right now for 10. However, for anybody who supports Hank Strange, they're only $8,000.
Okay.
But if someone wants them, but what we do is that we believe that luxury is uniqueness,
Mm-hmm.
luxury is rarity, and luxury is extreme high quality. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we create. We create unique pieces, and the idea of taking an actual gun. There are some watches that look like guns, but
Mm-hmm.
these are actually real guns that you can fire, that I can fire, that
Mm-hmm.
I own,
Mm-hmm.
and and took them apart and transformed them because
Mm-hmm.
it was a metaphor. For me, it was interesting. I
Yeah, I'm
I'm around,
curious how you. So you took a cylinder. You're taking. You said Colt 57s. You're using the cylinder and you're cutting the cylinder, and then
I have
how
to
are
mill.
you? Yeah, how are you?
Mill
You're
Yeah, I have to mill each and every one. I have
so
to
the case
mill.
itself is. You're milling the cylinder into the case. How does that work exactly?
What
I'm
I'm
just.
doing is I'm taking the cylinder and I'm having
Mm-hmm.
to mill the interior of it to make it work. And the
Mm-hmm.
different levels I need it to be. I'm not gonna tell anyone how I do it because it took me a
Mm-hmm.
year to figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But so I have everything is done so precisely because of tolerance, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you have my the movements I have. I use the best wrist movements on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
and so they have to be able to move freely. They
Yeah,
have to
that's
be
what
able to
I was gonna ask you about the movement. I mean, for guys who, so I know some of the folks out there, and I'm sure there's people like, okay, wow, these are expensive watches. I don't really think they're that expensive,
and not
considering that you're hand making them and you make limited numbers and stuff like that.
nine. Mhm.
Yeah,
Nine.
but and obviously, like I'm into watches, so there's different levels of people. There's folks who have no watches, the guy who rocks what is it, the Apple Watch, and then the guy like me. I enjoy a watch, and I don't care if it's a Casio, like a G-Shock or something. I don't have Rolexes or anything like that. I think probably my most expensive watch I have is this Tudor, which is kind of like a
It's okay.
sister to the Rolex or whatever.
They
But
make $200,000 a year. They make
yeah,
two.
I mean, yes, this costs some money, and they make a lot more of them, these kinds of things. But if you really enjoy something, it's just like there's really high quality 1911s and other guns and stuff like that out there. If you enjoy
That's
those
beautiful.
things, yeah,
But
you'll save up the money, you'll work, and you'll make it happen, and then you'll really enjoy that thing if you're into it.
we have some watches that are only 4,000 or
Hmm.
4,500. So
Hmm.
they're not all expensive, but
Hmm.
there are people who spend $10,000 on a pair of shoes
Hmm.
that are made in a sweatshop.
Yep.
Whereas one thing people need to understand about what not only is it made by hand, it's rare, but also half of every single thing I make I use for charity.
Hmm.
Every and I've been doing that consistently forever. The
Yeah.
point being is that, and it's also for me as a person of color, it's a metaphor. I love the idea of turning something that can kill, and that also can feed your family into something that I use strictly to help other people.
Hmm.
That's it.
Hmm.
So when you buy one of our watches, what you're doing is that you're buying an opportunity to help people in poor communities globally. Whether I'm doing a food program in Ecuador,
Hmm.
working with teaching women how to use guns properly in Brazil or a water project in Africa. When you buy one of our watches, what you're doing is not having me buy a brand new car or brand new mansion. You're helping me to try to go and share whatever I have to make our world, our communities a little better. But you also have an incredibly beautifully made piece of art that is timeless, that is unlike anything out there, frankly, unless I made it, because it's real. And there's something about knowing it was the real gun. Some of these watches, were actually made from former sheriff's guns, from the sheriff's department. And I love the idea. So this gun was transformed. So if you want something really unique and beautiful that you can really have for a lifetime and pass on to your kids, what's a $4 or $8 or $10,000, even $16,000 investment? Whereas when you look at a Rolex, there's 700,000 of those made every year. What's unique about that? There are 50,000 Patek Philippe's. There are even 2,000 Richard Milles made each year. So there's nothing really unique and special about them. And when you buy those, you're just making rich people richer. When you buy one of our watches, you're doing your part to help make our world better for people who will never be able to afford not just a watch, they can't even afford dinner. So what I try to do is use everything I create to make our world better. And I do that because I know what it's like to not eat. I know what it's like to sleep under a bridge. So while I'm in a different station in life now, I travel the world, great, whatever. But I never forget where I came from and what I've had to endure. So there's an affinity I have with people who don't eat. There's an affinity I have with people who are oppressed. There's an affinity I have with people who are trying to transform their lives. So for me, these watches are not just, they're made from guns and they're beautiful. These are my tool to try to make an impact in the lives of people globally. So when you buy one of our watches, you are helping me make a difference in the lives of people you may never see, you may never meet, but they may be the ones to find a cure for whatever drug or for whatever illness are going to come out in 20 years from now or 10 years from now. So that's really what it's about. It's about, are you buying luxury for luxury? Or are you buying it because you want to make a difference? Are you buying it because you care? Are you buying it because, you know what? I appreciate this gentleman, and if I got to go buy something, let me buy something from someone who represents my values, who represents my hopes and my dreams. So when you buy from us, that's what you are doing. So it's not just, it's a beautiful piece. It's more than that. Whereas
listen, I agree with what you're saying, but the first thing I would say to people, I would never begrudge someone who is creative and really putting their heart and soul into what they're doing, as you are. I can tell from you speaking. I would never begrudge that person having nice things, right? I mean, we're either communists, socialists, or we're capitalists. We got to figure out where we're at, right? And so for me, like someone like yourself is genuinely a gun guy. You understand the dual nature of what firearms are. And so you're creating these things and putting it out there in the world. You should make a living from that. You should be able to do things and have nice things. And people also, when we make that choice to, like, for example, me, if I'm going to put money together and get, the next time I get a nice watch, I'll probably get one of your watches for several reasons. Because I met you. You're a gun guy just like me. I could feel and appreciate the passion and all that kind of stuff. Might take me a while. Might take me a while to do it, but I would do it and enjoy it. You might get something in the mail. You never know. Listen, the thing about it is this, right? It's this thing that someone that we're on simpatico with, that we're like soul brothers because we're in this fight together, right? All of us. And I think people out there appreciate that kind of stuff. Obviously things like this, the time and the energy that you put into it, I think it's really worth it. And sometimes we get away from that. But at the same time, I understand, like, not everyone out there in the world, is rocking and rolling like that, or even interested in watches or cars or even guns that way. There's people who don't see these as things that have a soul, and you should. I think if you see things, that's what takes the fun out of things. I don't like eating just for the sake of putting food into my mouth. I know it might not look like that because I'm a big dude, but I enjoy it. there's people looking for like some kind of soylent green type of thing where they just drink this tasteless thing and then they're not hungry, right? But I eat for the enjoyment of that thing.
Yeah, I think for me, I think our clients are people who they just appreciate. I would buy, even if I didn't make them, I would buy it because I love the notion. I love the way it looks. I love how masculine and manly it is. But also from a design standpoint, I find it exquisite. And I don't quibble over pennies. I'm not made a ton of money, but if I value it, I'll pay for it. And then if I knew that the guys understood good with it, well, what's it? I mean, we spend money foolishly as people anyway, as Americans in general.
I mean, we could always be crackheads. I mean, let's be
no, literally,
right. We could always
afford to buy it.
We could always spend it on crack and whores or something like that. I don't know.
We got to find our passions, and that's fine. What is your passion? For me, my passion is creating beautiful work and using the money to try to make my world better. So that's one of my passion. But I also like eating too. I like eat food from all over the world. I really enjoy that. So I travel a lot. So I always try that because you learn something about someone by what they eat, by who they love, what they do,
how they cook it. How they eat it, what utensils do they use their hands? Being where I come from, people use their hands. I was born in Guyana in South America. And I'm like my mom's Indian, and so just having that mix, being from the Caribbean and all that kind of stuff. There's people who eat with their hands, and there's a reason and a soul behind that. I hardly ever sit at a dinner table. Lola has a very nice dinner table in our house. I sit on the floor. There's just things like that about.
When I go to the Middle East, we always sit on the floor. We always sit on the floor in the Middle East. I go to the Middle East often. But it's funny. I was flying back from Dubai, and this gentleman was eating rice with his hands, Indian gentleman, and he said he always uses utensil except for rice because he said it just makes the rice taste better. And I know but that was close to him. I think he associates it with family, with comfort. The way your Abu, Abba would feed you, and so and I understand that because I when I'm there, people always eat. I'm used to eating with my hands because I'm around people who only eat their hands. Like eating goat ribs. If you never had goat ribs, Yemeni goat ribs, please. Please. I mean, like, oh no. Some good goat ribs could make you slap your mama's hand. No. They're not good. They're that good. I remember we were eating at this place in Dubai. Dubai, and we used it to break it. It was so tender. Oh my word, it was delicious. Oh no, it wasn't good. It was that good. And so, and there's something sensual, earthy, and frankly really human about using your hands. Because even when I'm creating, I'm really tactile. So even when I'm doing this, even with my watches, I do this all the time. I'm always just feeling it because we are tactile people. At least I am. And I really like that. So when you say eating with your hands, there's something almost spiritual in that. And a lot of us in the West, if we haven't traveled much, or if we have traveled much, we may find that, whoa. But the first thing we eat with is our hands. When we're babies, we put things in, we're always milling about with our hands and putting things in our mouths. So this is the very first tool we have. And I think it's interesting. I like that you said that.
I mean, I grew up eating like roti and curry and stuff like that. You gotta, cause like here in America, when people put that all in a kind of make it into a burrito, that's craziness. You're supposed to take that roti and tear it apart and sop up some, get some meat and potatoes and some of that curry on there and then eat it. Huh?
Because if I go down there, you gotta. Because I know. I mean,
well, so thankfully, my mom's not here anymore, but she taught Lola how to make curry and all that kind of stuff. Lola refuses to make roti and everything. That's too much work.
I'm a bread person. No.
But she's kind of like an African princess, Lola, so she won't make it. But if I can get some for you, I'll go somewhere.
No, I love that. No, gosh, and I always say make more for me. So when I go, I'm gonna want some when I leave because I believe in Tupperware. I believe in sitting Tupperware with food in it. When I go.
Yeah, Lola makes a mean curry. My mom, because like there's all these different Indian tribes, and so my mom taught her how to make the specific kind of curry that her that her people are used to making, which is what I'm used to eating. So my
that's
mom is
lovely.
descendant of like the Thuggee Indians, if you have any idea. Madrasi
Yeah,
Indians. Yeah. So
yeah, whatever. Hey,
yeah.
you know what? Your kids are born in Jersey. They know about thugs now.
Well,
They
of the
got thugs up and down.
original,
They got
the
thugs
Thuggies.
up and down.
Yeah, the Thuggies were the OG gangsters. They were actually like some of the first recorded gangsters. We'll get into it here, but let me get some questions from the folks out there, because we do have folks hanging out with us. I do want to get some questions. Jerry Parker says, "How many watches can you make, or do you make out of one cylinder?" So,
At most I make only 2 watches out of one cylinder. What I normally do is, it depends on the nature of it, because each cylinder, every cylinder is very specific, because they're not all the exact same size. There's a very specific size cylinder I use, which I'll just keep it to myself. But I don't make a lot of watches, frankly, because they're literally all made by hand. We make every single thing by hand. Only thing we don't make are the straps that I can make. We don't make those. And then the crystals, we carve the crystals. We don't make the sapphire crystals. But we literally, it's a process where we've literally had to find a way to go and find what tolerances work and make it work. It was a really time intensive process I went through. And I spent working with, I probably spent like $100,000.
Wow.
Just trying to go and figure it out, because you think it'd be easy, but there's reasons we don't do it.
No, everything is easy until you actually have to get in there and do it.
If I knew how difficult it would have been, I would have did it.
Yeah,
and I would have spent the money.
Yeah,
but
I mean, people think it's easy to make a revolver, right? Revolvers have been around so long, and people think, I could do that.
But it's not. It's funny. I heard someone say once about how easy it was. And I remember I said, I'm so glad I wasn't there. This person was in Philadelphia. I said, I probably would have pimp slapped him because of all the time and effort, because it's so elegant and simple. It looks like it'd be easy. But, I'm blessed to have, one of my friends, Gary, they have a factory with, millions of tools in it. And so I'm blessed to have people who have access to anything. That is truly a blessing, because we can build anything. And so, but unless you have the tools that I'm blessed to be around, it's a difficult process. So, in answer to the question, it depends. Sometimes I make 1, possibly 2, depending upon the nature of the cylinder. But we only make We only make 9 Sao Paulos because they're more difficult to make, and the Model 1s, at most, I'll make is 15 a year because they're expensive. But I want to make everything. How
long have you been making watches?
For 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah,
do you plan on? Are you going to make watches from now on, or do you think at some point your interests may shift and then these become incredibly limited watches?
Well, I'm a hyper creative individual.
Okay.
So whether it's $250,000 chairs, which we make lounges.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit there. I'm not sure if I don't know if that's me or what's going on there. Okay, let's see.
Really, really quickly.
Yeah, you broke up for a second. Sorry about that.
Also right into the thing.
Czar, you broke up. Whatever you said for the last 30 seconds, we missed it. So
no, I was saying that I can see. I'm a creative person, so I make any number of things constantly.
Okay.
And I'm just. It's my drug of choice. But ultimately, I'll probably only make 10 a year of any of them, because it's not as easy to get the right cylinders as I want. Actually, it's become increasingly hard. With over 400 million guns in America, it's still hard to find the right cylinders. But also, I love the exclusive nature of it. I love that I only make so many. I like that very few people will ever own one. And that makes it special to me. I want the people to feel special. I was talking with someone in Brazil last night who wants a watch. I love that when I finish the watch, I will literally go make a custom case for it, and then I'll book a flight. I'll fly it down to Sao Paulo, and I will literally give that person a watch, and he'll be one of only maybe 5 people in the entire country who has a watch.
Wow. Yeah.
That's
hand delivered by that's a big deal. Hand delivered by the artist.
It's important to me. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, at first, I want the reason why I do that because I love the idea. Luxury is also taking care of your people, but beyond that, I once shipped something to London, and it was stolen. I said it'll
Oh,
never happen again. So
okay.
I would rather go and buy the business class ticket to wherever, take it with me, and deliver it to the person. Because if someone's going to honor me by buying my work, I need to make sure they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important to me. I mean, because I mean, to me, I find it a blessing whenever anyone, I don't care whether they buy the lowest price one, or the most expensive one, they are still honoring me and my work. And I want to make sure they get it. And honestly, I just want to thank them for helping me to make a difference making a difference in my life financially for those people that I'm trying to help. So to me, because I only deal with so many, it becomes a very intimate thing for me. So I develop relationships with these people
Yeah,
who buy the
I mean, and
watch.
that's very cool if you think about it. I know. So I have a friend, Sam Andrews. He makes custom leather holsters, and you know, in the gun world, a lot of people get leather holsters for really nice guns, right? So he does that for he actually makes leather holsters for Cabot guns, and they make some really fine 1911s. I don't know whether you're aware of Cabot guns or not. They make some really, if you've ever seen them, they at SHOT Show, for example, they're the guys that have 1911, like they'll make a 1911 from a meteorite.
Oh, I would
Yeah,
love that.
I remember they did that, and it was like $2 million, right? They made a twin 19, like mirrored 1911s, and then there was like a knife or something. But they're real high end. They make stuff for stars and all that. I think an entry level 1911 from them is like 3,500. People think that's expensive. I think
It's fun.
it's very affordable considering how
It
they
is.
manufacture it. But he's been doing stuff for them for a long time, and he told me one day the owner, which we've had Cabot Guns on the podcast, if you guys want to go back and see that, and the owner was on. And the owner, Robert Bianchin, he actually got on a plane, like a friend of his had a little private plane, and flew down to Florida to the shop to bring him a 1911 that they built for him. And that was he felt that was such an honor that these guys that built this thing, got on a plane and flew it down there to
No,
him.
I'm all about that. That to me, that's really important. I mean, because it shows that's what separates you. If you buy a Rolex or Patek Philippe, I mean, the person who designed it, they're not going to fly and give it to you. When you buy one of ours, I will fly anywhere in the world that I can and deliver it to you. Because it's funny. I had something happen where during this COVID, I couldn't ship a lot of things. A lot of things were crazy. So a friend of mine, I was trying to get him. His friend is a famous race car driver, and he had a home in Florida, and so we know the same person. So he has a private plane. So he flew it from Miami back to Brazil. And I just love the notion of that. You taking something that you value and bring it. I know that's kind of that's an exclusive and that's expensive, but I make luxury items.
Yeah.
And part of luxury is treating people beautifully.
Right, and that's one of the points I wanted to make to the folks who are listening to this, because this would probably be for a lot of folks out there the first time that they've been introduced to you. I met you through John Crump. Big shout out to him. You guys should. There was a podcast you guys did together. You guys should check it out. But you actually make luxury items that are way more expensive even than these watches that you're also selling, right? Did you hear me there? I think your internet is probably going in and out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just want to show some of your featured work that's on your website. If anyone goes to Zaxxr Designs, which would be Zaxxr Designs or
With an S.
yeah.
Zaxxr design stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really beautiful pieces of art here, and I think you've built furniture and stuff like that. Yeah, and these are probably very high end pieces of art here. I see that you used to make belts. You used to make belts from the 80s to like.
I love belts. I still love belts because when I lived in Montana, that's one of the ways I supported myself by making belts.
Okay.
I found stuff and made belts. So to this day, I will always define myself as a belt maker. No matter what, I'll always be a belt maker, and I love my belts. My belts are one of my favorite things.
Yeah. So let me see if I got to all the questions here before we get into other stuff.
Oh, let
Go ahead.
tell them how to spell my. If they go to Peace, it's Pacetines and the number 38. So it's Peace times 38. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 38 because we used to make things out of 38 caliber revolvers, but they're too small. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, I like
but
big. I like big, bulky watches. All Thumb says I would love to. I would have to go on a 5-year payment plan, but he says he loves to have one though.
you know what? See, if someone's serious about that, I'll do a 1 year, 2 year payment plan because I'd rather sell to someone who really wants it than someone who would just put it in a drawer. So they can contact me on the website. If they're serious, I can work with anyone because I haven't always had means, but I've always had desires. And so I have no problem working with someone because, you never know. And I think I'm okay. I don't mind.
I'm gonna save up and get one of your watches, man. Because I meet someone who makes watches, and you take your time for 2 hours and come on the show and talk to us and stuff like that. That's amazing, and I love watches. I love watches. So how can I go buy like any other watch until I get one of your watches?
No, it's something.
And also, Lola can surprise me for Christmas. It's never too late.
She get a discount though, by the way. She's really polite.
Or everyone could get together. Man, I don't know. Okay. I'm not gonna be that bad. I'm not gonna be that terrible.
That bad.
DC2 Mega Boost says a watch with a mission. Totally dig it. I agree with that. What are some of the charities that or the organizations that that this money goes to?
First, we have our own foundation. It's called See Change USA and Walk the Line Project Foundation. We've had our own foundation for 11 years. But one of the things that I'm really a proponent of is feeding people. Over 10 million people, 10.4 million people a year die because of hunger. So hunger, water, education, those things really matter to me. So often what I will do is I'll work with individuals, whether it was my buddy in Machala, Ecuador, where we will go and we'll feed people. We'll create our own food banks and just pay people's food, pay people's education. We'll do anything like that. I like working individually with individuals and some organizations, whether in Brazil or in Ecuador, or just anyone who wants to make a difference, frankly. I don't do a lot of things in the U.S. because I feel we won the lottery just by being born here. And so there's certain things I will do. I will do certain things here, but often I'll do things in the third world because, I travel.
Why? I mean, why not?
I travel.
A lot of times, and here's how I feel about this. A lot of times, like right now, there's this massive COVID thing going out there, right? And there's a whole bunch of money going to other countries for ridiculous reasons. And what a lot of people don't realize, like actually Americans, not the government, the people of America do a lot for other countries. They go build schools, they feed people.
We give like crazy.
Yeah.
And I see that. But for me, when I'm in other parts of the world, what I try to do is, unfortunately, I remember I was walking through the Area Historical in Quito. And I remember seeing this guy laying on the ground, and he was an amputee. And I thought to myself, I said, I used the word. I said, blank, you will never complain about anything till the day you die. And so I've unfortunately, in my travels around the world, while I may stay in that hotel often, I'm often in the other neighborhood because I don't ever want to go someplace and not see how people really live. And so whenever I go anywhere, I always end up I leave with almost nothing. When I'm in South America, I always wear leather shoes. You must have leather because there's a lot of there's a lot of people who shine shoes for money. So I always get my boots shine like 5 times a day or 10 times a day. And every time I do it, I remember some of my friends on there, they said, why are you doing it? Why are you giving them money? And I used to get mad. I understand they don't understand. But I just think to myself, often they're kids or they're people or women or older men. And I am privileged. And so for me, just to be able to go down there, so I would shine my shoes 10 times a day because that's a way for me to help somebody. And you know, but by the grace of God, I don't have to shine people's shoes every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do with my money is try to do that, because it may be something simple. When I'm down there, you know, I'll give someone $100 tip. You know, I say, don't tell anybody. You take this, you buy something for yourself. You know, whatever. It's always like that. Just like, don't tell someone in Spanish or Portuguese, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's just it's an opportunity to go and make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, I've been blessed because I was able to transform my life into something. You know, with skill and opportunities. I'm in America. Not everybody has that.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it is the rent I pay for being alive to help other people.
Absolutely.
And I have to. I have to. You know, because I wouldn't like it. You know, I'm in Seattle right now. Outside of Seattle, and this is one of the richest places on the planet. The money here is crazy, but you have all these people in tents and everything else. It's not because they're poor here; it's because they're on drugs, it's because of other issues. Because in this place that's so liberal, it's not liberal enough to really care or to make a real difference. Say, okay, don't let someone just keep being stupid. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is that we have so much here. But when I go to other parts of the world where they don't have so much, and as I do regularly, I have to do what I can. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wasn't raised to sit back and not feed a kid, mm-hmm. you know, or to help a old lady across the street. I wasn't raised that way. I mean, I don't know who people are nowadays. I mean, people think people are woke and whatever that means. I don't know what that means. I know about waking up from sleep, but you know, what are you really doing to make a difference? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How are you trying? And so we use all our money, the bulk of our money, to go and try to make a difference and impact the lives of people where we come across. Mm-hmm. And so for me, that is necessary. Mm-hmm. It's our obligation. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not we shouldn't. One thing as a gun person, one of the hardest things I've had to deal with, frankly, is that because they say, how can you promote peace and then make things out of guns? And then besides saying, how can you walk and think and chew gum at the same time? I think to myself, first, you don't live my life. You don't know what I do or how I try to live my life. But so many people try to judge someone by a standard that they don't themselves meet. Mm-hmm. Every day, I try to make a difference in someone's life. Every single day. Mm-hmm. And yes, I'm a guy who likes shooting. You know, and I always say that. Remember that I like shooting. I always say I make watch out of guns. Don't piss me off. Remember that.
Also, let me share this. You've heard the Latin phrase "si vis pacem para bellum," right? Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that means if you seek peace, prepare for war.
You have to.
Yeah. There's people, when I started doing this, I always say peace out and stuff like that. And a lot of people are like, oh, why are you saying peace? I was like, dude, that's what I want. I want the world to be a peaceful, better place. I don't want to fight with people or have to destroy people. But there are people out there who want to do that. So you have to be prepared for that.
I put a peace sign on it because ultimately, you know, I'm using a weapon peacefully. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I also carry a weapon, and I hope that I never have to use it. Mm-hmm. But I'm a dead shot. I am a dead shot. So if I have to use it, I'm not gonna miss. and that's also why I train to make sure that I never ever want to have to. I never want to have to use a weapon ever. Mm-hmm. But I also know that if I'm gonna go and make a difference in the world, I gotta do something. You can't just say you want peace without doing the work involved. Mm-hmm. But you also gotta realize the world's a tough place. I have been shot at. I've had guns in my head, my chest more than once. So, I mean, I understand what it's like to be around a crazy person or a criminal otherwise trying to kill you. True story. One time, this is true story. One time, this is probably 30 years ago. I was in Decatur, Illinois. I was hitchhiking through Decatur, Illinois, and I was tired. I was under a bridge. True story. Mm-hmm. And someone that gave me a ham sandwich. Some guy came over. He wanted to rob me. He said, "What do you have?" I said, "A ham sandwich." He said, "Give me the sandwich."
Oh, man.
And I said, "Can I have half of it?" but I gave him the sandwich. So like literally for a sandwich.
You know what? That was your wealth at that moment. If you were hitchhiking and someone gave you that. And I always tell people, here's the thing I always tell people, because this is an epiphany that I personally had, and that's why I spend a lot of time doing this. If you cannot defend something, you don't have it.
Amen.
If you don't have the ability, it's like growing up in New York City. If you had a nice chain or watch or anything nice on you, like I remember growing up, and if you had a nice Walkman or something like that, or sneakers, people would roll up on you and they would go, "What are you going to do for that?" And basically, what that means is, are you willing to fight for this thing? Because if not, just give it to me.
So by the way, Hank, that's now stolen. I will use that forever. I thought of it myself. That's amazing.
Okay, I'm fine with
but I
that.
know what my father said something along that line. He would say that people don't know what love is. People say love is a lot of different things, but he says but you protect what you love. Whatever you want to protect, that's what you love. So I always explain that. I was talking to Gigi, my little Gigi, and he's got 3 kids now. And I was talking to him, and I said, the reason why when I took him shooting for the first time when he was grown.
So who is? I'm sorry. Who is Gigi? Is that
Gigi is the son I don't have, but is my son that I have. So,
all right, cool.
But I've known him. I love Gigi. He's my little Gigi. And so I've been looking out for him forever. So I remember he wanted to learn to shoot, and so he lives down in California, and it's not like being back in Normalville. So I took him out to a gun place and whatnot, and he never saw me shoot before. And I remember I took him in there, and usually I use long guns primarily, but they had some SIGs because he wanted to shoot. He wanted to shoot like this, like literally, he wanted to shoot like that.
Okay.
Like in the movies.
Yeah,
and I was like,
he wanted to do the gangster hold.
Literally the whole 9 yards.
It has its merits, I guess, under certain circumstances.
Okay, whatever.
Right.
So we went and I took him out to shooting, and then I remember I went and I took the gun, I showed him how to load it, showed him how to do it, how to handle it, and then I just did some shooting real quickly. And I remember he looked at me because I'm a better than good shot, and he just looked at me because someone's looking at you. He looked at me like, really? And afterwards, I said, Gigi, I love you. You're my baby. You and the kids, I will always make sure you're good, and that means I need to be able to protect you. And I don't lie to you. I told you I was a dead shot, and I am. If anyone bothers you or my babies, they're toast. He got all quiet. But it was that idea because you do protect what you love. And if you can't protect it, you don't have it. No one ever put it to me the way you said that. There's something in that's, I get it. I really get it. I don't care whether it's your borders, whether it's your home, whether it's your dignity. If you're not willing to fight to protect it, do you really have it?
You don't have anything that you cannot defend. If you're not in a position to defend something, it doesn't belong to you.
I've never thought about that until you said that. That's life-changing in a way because it really changes how I see things. Because I believe that, wow. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, because you were talking about hitchhiking, and you were talking about like at 16 you were living in a log cabin in Montana, right? Yeah.
Yes.
How did from being born in Jersey, how did that arc take place? How did you wind up living there, and then being a person, and because a lot of people were saying that in the beginning of this chat that you talk like you're even older than you are, so it seems like you've been going through things from a young age. How did that happen to you?
Not every family is healthy, and unfortunately, abuse and violence is endemic in our society. A lot of people, when that happens, they get beat down. Most get beat down. But there's always some defiant little person who either I stay and get beat down, or I venture out on my own and create a life and live. I made the choice to venture out on my own to create a life and live, because no one will beat me down ever. And so I'm a defiant person, I guess. And so the life I was living wasn't working. And in the same way, all over the world, you have people, whether they are in Sudan, Somalia, they leave because life isn't working. I did the exact same thing. My life wasn't working for me in a manner that I believe God would want me to have. So due to the nature of the experiences over my lifetime, I decided to create for myself a better world. That's the short, clean, clinical way of putting it. But
And somehow that took you out to Montana, living
it did, because
in a
what
log
took me out
cabin.
there was that it was when I was in Montana and Alaska. I used to live in Canada too. When I was out in the wilderness, that was the only time I ever felt safe. You know, when I'm amongst people say living amongst the animals, it's the only time I ever felt safe in my life. I felt at peace. So when I discovered decades ago Montana and British Columbia and Alberta, what I found was my church. I found a place where I could feel safe and at peace. I found people, this was so last century, who treated me with respect and decency and kindness. I found people who became family to this day, that became family to me, who look out for me to this day. What I found was a dream that became a reality. So what I did was, instead of staying in the filth and the crazy, I decided I'm gonna live. So I walked out the door and I kept on going. And that walk has taken me to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, all around the world, because I kept on going. And what I tell anyone, if your life isn't working for you, then you change it. If you're willing to sacrifice who you are or what you are for what you want to become, then you can become it. It won't be easy. It still isn't easy for me, but I'm a fighter. I will always fight you. I will always fight you. And I am that person, but that's my personality, you know? And so that's why I went from a situation that wasn't working, and I created, through time, effort, and the kindness of strangers, a life worth living. That's how I went.
That's powerful. A lot of people, you know, you could be in civilization, right, and be under those kinds of circumstances, and if you have the ability to walk away into the darkness, into the wilderness, you know, like you said, what was it? Why did you feel safer in the wilderness?
I'm not big on people. I mean, I'm not big on people. You know, people can be cruel, toxic,
savage.
I've had more guns pointed at my head and at my chest than I've ever want to have. I've had more knives. I know what it's like to walk down the street and have someone take a baseball bat and ping you. I know what that feels like. And so I tell people there's a reason why I sleep with a loaded gun by my bed. There's a reason why. And I would never break into my house, ever. I would never break it, ever, because you're leaving a spoon. But the bottom line is that when I discovered so many moons ago, those places, it was peaceful. I'm drawn to nature. And it just, there is nothing like being in the wilderness. I don't give it what anyone says. I watch sometimes, I don't watch a lot of TV, but on my Netflix, I saw the show Alone. I wanted to beat them. Because they were stupid. I live that way. You know, I said, you cannot be that stupid. But they were. They really were. You know? But the thing is that for me, these places are beautiful. And, you know, animals are pretty simple. You leave them alone, leave them alone. You know, if they're hungry, they may do X, Y, and Z. If I'm hungry, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. But you know, I'm to this day, I live really simply. You know, I live beautifully. I create luxury items. Obviously, I like nice things. I mean, I create nice things. But I'm really simple. I'm extremely simple. I don't need a lot. I'd rather be in a log cabin than almost any other place on the planet. You know, with a wood stove. I mean, that to me, that works. I don't need a lot of the other stuff. But for me, in these places, it's great. And then a lot of my friends, you know, back then, everybody used to have, everybody had a gun rack. So remember, you know, everybody knew they had guns. So we'd go hunting. And so we'd go out hunting, and that's how you get your meat. And you salt it and you get it, and that's how you get your meat. And so for me, being around guns is part of that experience for me. It just reminds me, when people would always go hunting and fishing, I'm the worst fisherman on the planet, hands down. There's no fisherman in the world worse than I am.
I could probably give you your run for your money being bad at fishing. I promise you.
Funny. I actually caught a dead fish once. True story, I did. But one
a dead fish? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean that's how bad I am. But one time I was in Lake Kamloops up in BC, and I was with my buddy and his dad, And at the time, I think it was, I mean, I must have been like 19 or 20. And I caught a fish. Oh my gosh. It was only like a 12-footer, right? A little rim on a 12-footer. And then Kevin was like, "Wow, throw it back in." I looked at him. His father came fishing with us. His father looked at me, looking at him. It was like, son, this man is about to throw you. Because that was like our first real fish.
I think you meant to say 12-incher or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's 12-inch fish. It was only 12 inch. It was a foot. It wasn't really big. But that's the first time I caught a live fish. Now I've been fishing for years. I suck at it, and also because my friends are such good fishermen, such good hunters, I don't have to because they'll get it anyway, right? I'll cut it up, I'll cook it for you, but I suck at it, right? I don't have a lot of patience for that nonsense. But so I finally caught a fish, and then remember he's like, "Throw it back in." I just looked at him with the look of death, and his father said, "Leave his fish alone." His father said, "This man was to kill my baby over fish." I was so proud. I was so proud.
That's awesome. By the way, John is out there. He says he's a huge fan of Zaxxr. There you go. John Crump. John Crump's out there. Let me get this comment in from Pistolero Chilensis. He says, "Good for you, brother. Finding light in the darkness. We all have to find peace that makes us happy. And being a man is about knowing who you are and who you're not."
Amen. Hallelujah. Amen to that. It is.
Yeah.
And then we got to figure out what works for us. I think sometimes we think, okay, what society says what should work for us? Well, society ain't raising you, society ain't feeding you. You got to figure out what works for you as an individual. Figure out how it works and just make it work. And embrace who you are and own it. Just own it. You know what I mean? And find a way to win. Just find a way to win. I mean, men just find solutions to problems. That's what men do. We find solutions. So don't tell me what the problem is. Find a way to win.
Yeah, if you're alive, I try to tell my kids that. I think it's tough for. I think nowadays life is so much easier for all of us in America, like you said.
Yes.
and you know what? It's kind of a thing because for Lola and I, we try to give our kids a better life than the ones that we had, which in our own ways, each was difficult, right? So I think our kids have it so easy that they get stressed out by things because they just didn't grow up in that fire where, you're always, there's always things that you have to deal with and fight back and stuff like that. But I try to tell my kids, and I'll tell anyone out there, no matter how tough things are, you have to avoid getting to that desperate place in your life where you're just willing to throw it all away, do something crazy, do something destructive to yourself or other people. If you're alive, if you're breathing, if you could walk away, like you said, right? You can walk away. That makes a difference. If you're still alive, even if you're homeless or, whatever it is.
You have the options. When you're alive, you're blessed. Just being alive. It's funny. My father's blind. My father's totally blind. And my father went blind 16 years ago. And I said, that was honestly one of the best things ever happened to him. Because my father is my father. I'll leave it alone. But I remember talking to his sister, his twin sister, my auntie. And I was saying, auntie, it took my father 39 years to become a good father. Better late than never.
Absolutely.
But you know what? He's amazing now. Because it allowed him to finally see. Being blind enabled him to finally learn to see. That's one of the greatest blessings I think he's ever had. So to me, it's like no matter what it is, you got to find a way to see the good in it. I believe in seeing the good, not the bad. Life is too short. There are people out there who will throw stuff at you and call you everything, who'll see all negative in whatever you do. I mean, I've had people say, "Why is this way? Why is this?" And my thought is that, you know what? You can go in whatever. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't need negativity in my life. I don't. I deal with amazing people, and I don't want to be around the nonsense. I focus on the good. What I would tell your kids is that focus on how blessed they are. Just blessed they have loving parents, and just shut up. You won a lot because you have loving parents. Just shut up and be thankful. I think one thing that we as a nation, as people, forget to do is just be thankful. We just forget to be thankful. We forget that, wow, we can breathe, we can eat. So I always focus on the blessings I have, not what I don't. I don't even go there. I just focus on the good because there's too much out there. I don't want to I don't want to have things in my head where I'm always just focusing on the negative. I just think we're around those kind of people. Do we want to be around people like that? No, we don't. It doesn't mean that times can't be tough. It doesn't mean that we can't feel lonely, blue, whatever. But we have to be striving for the better, striving to make our lives better, striving to be the best example of ourselves we can be. It won't be easy, but what is?
Yeah. One of the things too, like, so here we're talking about material things, and I think that, everyone has material things, including me. But one of the things I've always learned in life, there's no material thing I won't walk away from for
Amen.
the people that I love, right? So I think the material things are what is imprisoning us or enslaving us as modern people. So no matter...
I see it all the time. And I see it especially in the black community often. People want this and that and that and that. They want luxury, this one, that. I say, first, you're not set up for your retirement. You're not set up for whatever. But you want to spend what on a pair of Yeezys? See, like my nephew, my buddy Shahed. Shahed is amazing because Shahed, he's from Pakistan. His father was the famous, the best lawyer in the country at the time while he was alive. But I remember Shahed. He called me once. He called me. Shahed doesn't show a lot of emotion at all. He called me, and his voice didn't crack, but there was something in it. Well, someone had literally some suicide bombers that blew up his family's house.
Oh.
So real world. I'm around a lot of people who lived real world lives. And so his son and daughter, I've known them all their lives. So I go see them. They live in a really nice house, beautiful house in Virginia. And so I remember he likes Yeezys. He's beyond spoiled. Yeah. So I could put on a pair of Yeezys, ugly shoes, but incredibly comfortable.
Right.
But
I think Kanye works a lot on it being comfortable.
No, they are extremely good. But the point is that that becomes the thing. Not getting people focus on those things as opposed to how can you educate yourself? How can you make the life for you and your family better? And we focus on material things. Now, I do make luxury items. I make $250,000 chairs. I get it. But, I also live within my budget every single day. Actually, I live below my means. I always have. Because I'm paranoid, I always feel that you never know. So you always prepare for whatever. I'm one of those people during this whole COVID. I save money. So I'm a saver.
Yeah,
so
you're like a Great Depression baby, from the Great Depression era, but you lived through your own personal Great
so
Depression.
I'm trying to always prepare for whatever. Yeah. So that's how I am. I see people like this that just be thankful, and you don't need that. You don't need that, and because and I know I make an item that people don't have to have, but for those who can afford it, it's a stunning piece. And I use the money to make my world better and hopefully your world better. Because you never know what person you're going to touch and how they will transform the world. But every person will transform the world in some capacity. So let's just hope that we're making a positive impact. And with your beautiful children, what I would just say that be thankful, be thankful. Focus on thankfulness, and that's it. That's what I say. Focus on being thankful. Yeah. Because someone always has it worse. And I really believe in traveling and taking people around the world and showing them things, because there's nothing like seeing someone up front. That's how they live. Yeah. And then to make them stop and think, oh. Yeah. And so
or nothing like showing, like I remember, for example, I lived in Nigeria at one point in my life. When you go to other places and you see other people who look just like you, regardless of who you are, if you're black, you're white, there's people in other places around the world who look just like you and have nothing.
And that could have been you.
Yeah, it could easily be you again, but it's all here.
Yeah, I tell people that most of human existence, people had very little, and people were oppressed. Only for the small period of time people had. And do you think that what's more likely, that we continue the way we are or go back to the way it was? If I was a betting man, I'll bet on what was in the past as opposed to what is right now. Yeah. Because the nature of humans has not changed at all. The greed, desire, all these things haven't changed at all. And so that's why we need to protect ourselves and be for this X, Y, and Z, because you never know when those times may come again. but they will come again because that's the nature of life.
Life will always be ups and downs. Like I guess I'm just used to that in my life. I mean, my parents, I think, had it pretty good in Guyana, just based on what they were both teachers by education and nature, but my dad, worked for the government, built stuff. My mom was a teacher. They were well respected. They had nice things, but they were living in a socialist country, right? And then we went down. We went to live in England. It was like you had nothing. And then we went to live in Nigeria, and then we had a lot of stuff. Then we came to live in America, and we had nothing. And I think, like Lola, sometimes, she's like, wow, you're pretty fearless. Because I'll do things that Lola's like, wait, this is a scary thought, and you're already acting on it. But this is why I do it, because I know in my mind I could walk away from those things. So if things don't work, if things aren't working out in something that I'm doing, some risk that I took, I'm not going to hold on to like a watch or even a gun or anything material when I'm like, okay, I got bills to pay. That thing has to go.
Amen to that.
And do what needs to be done.
That's being a responsible person. That's not fashionable anymore. That's like, okay, someone pay my bills. Mm-hmm. I literally had something happen recently where someone who I haven't spoken to in a year and a half, a family member, they literally, I guess kids call it ghosting me for whatever reason, but I got a call and I found that it was from some jail, whatever. So now you want Uncle to go, really?
Yeah, bail me out.
Well, see, Uncle didn't do the crime. Uncle's not doing the time, and Uncle's not going to pay for it. Because you know what? If you want to be that person, you be that person by yourself. Yeah.
Jail is the right place for a lot of people.
Amen.
I mean,
I think more need to go to jail personally.
Yeah, sometimes you got to sit over there and think what you did. Sometimes going into that prison saves you.
Yeah, well, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. From the show Beretta, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I believe that absolutely. So you want me to pay for your stupidity? That makes me stupid. No, it's not. I work so hard to walk a straight and narrow line, to be right and do right. And whatever I have, I try to make it legitimately, really work hard. And so, but now you want me to take what I worked so hard for, what I sacrificed for, because you were stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Good day. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah. At the risk of being really, really terrible or seeming really terrible to people, can I hit you with another thing that I live my life by?
Okay.
Okay. This is what I believe. In life, you have to be willing to give up everything that you have to get something that you want.
Please. I live that. You have to.
A lot of people don't realize that, though.
No.
People think that's a crazy thought.
Free.
Yeah, I always tell people that if whatever you want, you could have it. You want to be a famous movie star. You want to have a chiseled body, a 12-pack. You want to live in a multi-million-dollar mansion, drive a supercar, do like whatever it is you want to do. You could do it, but you have to be willing to give up everything you have to get what you want, and you have to ask yourself if that's worth it. Huh?
I go to Hollywood a lot. So your dignity too.
Exactly, but that's the point that I'm making. I mean, sometimes if you really want something, you could do it, but you have to ask yourself, is it worth it, everything that I'll have to give up for that? If you have a family that you love, if you have a spouse, children, and you love them, and you can't do something because you're taking care of them, then you ask yourself, do you want that thing more than you want your family? I've been in that position, and I've chosen to take care of my family. And I'm really glad that I did that. Yeah.
That's what a man does. A man takes care of his kids.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a man takes care of his kids. If a man ain't taking care of his kids, just sit your ass down and go. Yeah. That's basic. If you're not taking care of your kids, just shut up. I don't have anything to tell. I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
I have nothing to deal with you because that's your basic job. If you can't do that, I don't have time for you.
But what more valuable do we have as human beings than our children? We don't have it. There's nothing that, first of all, we don't own or have anything else, right? Like I said, if you don't have the ability to defend it, you definitely don't have it. But when we have kids, there is nothing, in my opinion, that's more valuable than that.
There should be nothing. Not everybody has that point of view, unfortunately. And a lot of people nowadays don't have that point of view, which is sad. And it's I call it a very Western or American point of view because I see when I'm in other parts of the world, it's not the case. I remember I was in Bogota and I was visiting some people I know down there. I was at this nice hotel, and this one guy, Danny, Big Danny, this little Danny, Big Danny, he wasn't working, and I asked little Danny, did he leave? Did he find a job? He said, no. He said in Colombia, no man would ever leave a job unless he had another job because he has a family. No matter what, you got to take care of your family. That's non-negotiable. And I love that. I love the idea that the one thing you have to do is take care of those you love. And if you're not going to take care of those you love, to me, you don't love them.
Mm-hmm.
Just
you probably don't love yourself.
Well, welcome to. I mean, that's being real. That's being real. By the way, this is just a wonderful opportunity to speak with you. I mean, it's like I've known you for 1,000 years.
Yeah,
I
think it's
so
cool.
Chill.
Yeah.
I have a question. When you, I wanted, I was going to be doing a waterfall trip of all the biggest waterfalls in South America. One's in Guyana. Have you been there?
Well, I left Guyana when I was 5, but I know Guyana is the land of waterfalls.
Have you been back?
No, I have not been back. I've been to a lot of places, but I haven't been back to Guyana. No.
Yeah, I guess I'll go there before you do because I wanted to go there because I wanted to go see the tallest waterfalls. The 10 tallest waterfalls in South America. Yeah. And Guyana has a beautiful one.
I think Guyana has the most waterfalls. I think it's called. Does Guyana? I think it means land of 1,000 waterfalls or something like that.
I thought it was lovely. I wanted to go see it because I always try to stay like that. I give myself a task. Mm-hmm. So, let me go to the highest mountains in every continent. Mm-hmm. Now, let me go see the tallest waterfalls and whatever. So that was my next trip in South America. I was going to go around to the largest and highest waterfalls in South America. And Guyana had one. So I looked and said, I'll do that. I'll do that because it just.
Was it Kaichor?
I don't remember.
Okay, we'll have to look
remember the name, but I know what it looks like because I'm a visual guy. Mm-hmm. I said it worked for me. I said I was going to go there because I wanted to see it. Yeah, because I love stuff like that.
I mean, I'm almost 50, and I left Guyana when I was 5. I've lived in a lot of places. When I was in Nigeria, I felt a lot like home to me. And even I've been in Honduras, and that felt a lot like home. Guyana is a beautiful place. I mean, it's 75% Amazon.
That works for me.
Yeah. Most of the people live like closer to the coast. Yeah. But I think that kind of stuff, from this point of view, I think that a lot of that kind of stuff is beautiful. The reality of living there, for people that look like me, like we were talking about before, is a completely different thing. I'm pretty much related to everyone in Guyana, by the way. Just because, first of all, Guyana has the population is less than 1 million people. There's more Guyanese people that live outside of Guyana than live inside of Guyana because everyone's trying to get out, even though it's this beautiful place with lots of resources. I've got family members that own gold mines. There's a lot of gold and there's bauxite. There's all kinds of things. Reynolds Foil used to have manufacturing facilities in Guyana until the government nationalized it. There's just a lot of resources there, right? Pretty much anything grows there, but this is one of the things I think people in America don't realize. Like, you could take this beautiful place with beautiful people, and you could destroy it with the ideas of the people who run the government.
Amen. Actually, you will destroy it.
Yeah, you absolutely will. And I think we're in danger of doing that here in America as well. America's an incredibly beautiful place, an incredible amount of resources, incredibly powerful. America's a breadbasket. America can live on its own without any other country. Like, we don't even actually need the Middle East and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's the things that we do to ourselves. So, for example, right off the coast of Guyana recently, they discovered massive amounts of oil, right? And so the government went to make deals with, I don't know, Exxon or whoever, right? And they basically made deals with the government that no other country would have signed deals like that. That the people of Guyana are going to suffer based on these deals that their own government made.
And you know what? What you don't have in Guyana, you don't have a Second Amendment there, do you?
No, people don't have the right to own. No, they can't. Firearms. Yeah, and China is heavily in there.
Huh? I know they are, very much so.
Yeah,
very much so.
Yeah,
because I'm in South America often, and they're for obvious reasons. The resources, mm-hmm. Small population base, But I just think it's really important that we gotta. I don't think Americans realize how blessed we are
Hmm.
and how much we have, and I don't think we realize how easily it can be lost.
Hmm.
How really easily it can all be lost. And I,
And there's a tipping point where it's not retrievable. I remember coming to live
amen to
here
that.
in the 80s. I came to live in America. I think I've been coming to America since 1980, but we came to live in 1983. Those were tough times, but that still wasn't the tipping point from where there was no return, right? But there is
Mhm.
one. There
There
is
is
one
one.
that we're going to eventually hit that, and there is no return from that. And then the thing that everyone dreads, that some other country, whether it's China or whoever it is around the world, comes in here, they pretty much own everything, they run everything, and that's what's going on in a beautiful place like
But
Guyana.
people sell. I would say they sell themselves for cheap. Is my term. They
Hmm.
just because they're getting their little portion
Hmm.
or their big portion, and everybody else don't matter. I think even in America, what's going on right now, even in a place like Seattle, there's just way too much. There's so much wealth here,
Hmm.
but what are they doing with it?
Hmm.
There's so much wealth here, but it's the policies of the people. It's the
Hmm.
policies of the people that people vote for,
Hmm.
stupidly vote for. Let's say in
Well, I
this case.
think it's because we abdicate a lot of our own responsibilities to people. That's what politicians are.
Amen. You're right. You're right. Because
You know.
I don't need you to save me. When I carry a weapon, I always say that I am my first and last line of defense,
Hmm.
and I will trust me before I trust you.
Hmm.
Bottom line.
Hmm.
But people think it's someone else's responsibility.
Hmm.
No, it's not.
No, it's
It's my
yours.
responsibility to take care of me and my family. It's my responsibility to protect myself. It's no one else's, and I don't
If,
need you to
if it's
protect.
someone else's responsibility, you're a slave, right?
Oh, well, no.
I mean, this is reality. This is how that works.
Someone may pull you off this. You better be careful. Somebody may grab you.
I mean,
Somebody
but
grab
that's
you
but
up
that's
now.
the truth. That's the truth,
I
right?
know, but
Yeah. Not everyone wants to hear it. Not everyone wants to hear. Let me ask you this. You've traveled, I'm sure, like 10, 100 times more than I have.
oh,
Where have you been, and why are you doing all of this travel? Is it business? Tell us what
it's
kind of stuff you're
business.
doing traveling around.
It's business, but also a lot of it's business, obviously.
Hmm.
But I also like seeing places. I mean, I love the natural world. I love South America. I love the natural world. I mean, I love the mountains. I love the desert. I love the desert. And so I like seeing it. But
Hmm.
I also love I love the ability to see what's in my house. I look at the
Hmm.
world as my house.
Hmm.
So I want to see every room in my house.
Hmm.
When you go in your house, you don't just go into the kitchen, living room, the bedroom, and the den. You
Hmm.
go in all rooms of your house. You go in the attic, you go in the basement, you want to see the whole house.
Hmm.
So I look at the world as my house. I want to see my entire house. So that's why I've been to every state in the union, because
Hmm.
I want to see every room in my house. So I make a habit of traveling because it enriches me.
Hmm.
From a creative standpoint, it inspires me greatly, but also I think it makes me a more whole person because I get to see how other people live. I get to hear from the experiences, and it makes me a more charitable person. It
Hmm.
makes me a more humble person because I realize how blessed I am. And I think when if you don't give yourself that, then you are less of the person you can be because you're not filling it out. It's like if I only go in certain parts of my house, I don't see it all. So I want to see my entire house.
Hmm.
I want to see all of my house. So
Hmm.
for me, that's what I do because it helps me. It helps me to see different things. So whether I'm in New Zealand, which is great, New Zealand or Japan or China, it all helps me to get a sense of okay, these people living in my house. This is my house, okay.
Uh-huh.
But I get to see people or my neighbors
Right. The
living in my
world
house.
should belong to all of us, but it doesn't necessarily, right? There's
So
some
what?
Are there places you don't want to go? I know there's places on the planet I don't want to go to. Even some places I really like, but I don't really want to go there anymore because, rules and the way people do things over there. I feel like, yeah, this isn't.
Let me see.
Have you been to some places that you're like, you know what? I'm not going back there ever, easily.
No, I'm a gypsy. I go anywhere. I
Okay.
go anywhere, and I think because of my personality,
Hmm.
I believe I can go to North Korea and be fine.
Okay.
Because first, I follow rules. I'm one of those people.
Hmm.
First, it's your house, your rules. You know what I mean? I'm not going to cut you down in your house. I'm not going to call you out of your name in your house. You know what I mean? Which people do, and then they wonder why things happen to them. You know?
Right.
I'm not a person who's going to complain when I'm not some famous celebrity. Whereas when something happens to them, they wonder, what did happen to me? This is a person of color. It's like, hey, I'm used to it. So
yeah.
So
I mean, even if you're American, man, if you're not, you have to get on special status, right? I think a lot of Americans don't realize this. You go to certain countries and you get in trouble, you could be so swiftly executed.
Well,
isn't there a girl right now in the Cayman Islands or something, an American teen?
No, but she was supposed, she didn't follow the rules because she didn't think rules apply to her. I said, you're going to sit your ass in jail for 4 months and then maybe you'll learn to follow rules next time. You don't get to do whatever you want. So that's why I think I do well in other parts of the world because I follow the rules and I understand that there's a privilege being an American because I always say you're part of a really big gang. But still, and also, I'm not easy to offend when I'm over. I'm not. One time I was leaving a country in South America. I was checked. I was buying some art, some very expensive art too, for that matter. But they looked at me like, "What are you doing?" So, black person, like, "What am I doing?" Right? And so they looked at me. They checked me 5 times. Different times.
They were like, we think you're still hiding something from us.
No. They did. And
you have that fit now.
No, the 5th time, literally, I walked out of the room, and then someone said, come into another room. So the 6th time. Only the 6th time did I lose it. And I didn't cuss, but what I did, I just reminded them that I'm fine, that financially I'm fine, and that I'm out of here no matter what. I know people, obviously. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people. And I know some prominent people. And so you don't ever want to go there, but they kept pushing me. And then finally, I just had to check them.
Yeah. You didn't want to pull out Dick Wham? Do you know what that is? Dick Wham? You never heard of Dick Wham?
No.
That's, do you know who I am?
No, I don't know. But what happened, I know a lot of people, and I know them well. I know someone who I call at 3 in the morning well.
Right.
But no, I don't do that because I'm humble as all get out. You just shut up and you just take it. But the 6th time, then I was in a bitch mode. I was like, bitch. I crossed over at that point.
Brian Quick says these COVID rules are pretty insane, though. You know what I think? But see, they say do when in Rome, do as the Romans. So here's the thing: if you're going to go to another country and you're making the choice to go to that country and you don't want to follow their rules and stuff. Listen, that might be some cute teenager somewhere, but you're going to another country and they have rules. You got to follow it. Because what are we going to do now? Go to war to get a teenager back because they went to somewhere else? I agree. There's a lot of crazy COVID rules not going to save anyone, blah, blah, blah. Don't go anywhere then.
Well, that's it. I mean, and that's the bottom line. So you got to be careful of that. Like when next month I'm flying to both the UAE and also Brazil. I do what people say. I just do what people say, and I'm pretty mellow about that, and I'm easy. And also, I said that I'm choosing to go to these other places. They allow me in their beautiful home. If I go to someone else, I'm not going to tell you what to do or say in your own home. I don't do that. I think it's rude. So I just don't do that. I just think, let me be polite, let me be respectful, and leave it at that. And it's not hard to be polite and respectful. It's what you should do. And if you don't like the rules they have, then just don't go.
Don't go. Or if you're there and you find out the rules, don't break any.
Don't break any, or leave. But
get out.
But don't get an attitude. Don't get an attitude.
Right.
That said, I was one time. True story. I was taking a taxi ride, and I arrived. I flew in from Houston, and it was really early in the morning. And I had this beautiful bag. I was really dressed nice. I wasn't dressed my normal sweatpants. I was really dressed nice, which is unusual for me. And I looked like I had a little money. And then someone picked me up at the airport. And I was going to this nice hotel near the President's Palace, and small, lovely, go there often. And someone went the wrong way, or what I thought was the wrong way. I go there often. It's like my 5th time there. And I thought, oh wow. Because that does happen. So I literally, this is what I did. This is typical me. I was in the back seat, so I started moving over directly behind the chauffeur, And I started taking my belt off because I was going to choke him out and leave his dead body there and expect him to.
Oh, you thought he was trying to kidnap you?
No, it happens. I know you
Yeah,
know
I
that it
know.
happens
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
No. I would have choked his blank out in a second because that's it. So while
Yeah,
I'm
people, you get
respectful,
kidnapped in other countries. It happens. People don't
you
realize
do.
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've had a situation where someone kidnapped me once, and so
Mm-hmm.
my thought was, no, you're not going to take me. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can have my dead body, but my alive body, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That no.
Yeah.
So I've learned that, but that was a true story because I remember that.
Yeah.
And luckily
Uh,
he turned away. I knew finally because I slowly took my belt off and I was
mhm.
about to go and was like, yeah, no. But sometimes, but
Yeah.
when you
There's
travel
there's those
overseas,
books that talk about when you travel. My brother is deep into these kind of books because there's always weapons around you. This is what people don't
amen to
realize.
that. Yeah.
Everything is a
I'm a
freaking
guy with a weapon out of
weapon. I mean,
anything.
I'm not Vin Diesel with the cup. Like I'm gonna kill you with this cup. Yeah, but a lot of things in the world of weapons. Your brain, the most important one. Go ahead, finish your thought. I've
No,
got
one
some.
time, another story. One
Hmm.
time, someone was about to assault me,
Hmm.
and I didn't have any weapon. I didn't have any weapon. But I remember there was a Pepsi can on the ground. So I don't know where this came from, but literally, I picked up the Pepsi can, I broke it, and then I made a razor out of it. So I'm about to rip it. I MacGyvered a weapon in like 10 seconds. I can MacGyver a weapon out of anything. So maybe part of the reason why I can travel around the world is that if whatever hits the fan, please bet on me, bet
Yeah,
on black.
yeah. Oh, okay. Now you Wesley Snipes. Okay, I
we
get
have the
it.
tax problems. We have the tax problems.
Oh, right. Yeah. You don't want to wind up in a prison in Florida. It's not fun. Yeah.
No, but no, I had to because
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to being by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes down to, and in life you got to figure out a way to win. And
Absolutely. No
so,
matter what,
and,
until you got to fight until you're dead. It's not
no,
about It's the thing is that if someone realizes that you're willing to give up, they're just going to keep going to that point that they know that this is where it is. So in your mind, you've like, if I'm here, I'm fighting.
no, I've always been that way, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm alive today. One of the reasons I'm alive today because I will fight you no matter what. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really important. I think as a man, you got to have that. So when I travel, I think part of what has kept me out of trouble often is that people sense, no, fool will kill me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
is what it is because you
Cray
give
cray
off like,
mode.
I'm gonna fight you forever. I'm gonna
Yeah.
fight you forever. I don't care if I die today. As long as I take you with me, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you have to have that warrior spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. You can have a gun or a knife and not be a warrior,
Mm-hmm.
or have that warrior spirit. I can have that Pepsi can and I'll
Mm-hmm.
still whoop your ass.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is that you have to have that ability to go
Mm-hmm.
and you say, I'm a win. I think in life, that's what I've learned. You've got to say, how can I make this work for me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I said, there are people who are depending upon me to be okay so that they can be okay. No. I have to win this fight. I have to do this and that and that. So I always look at it's not just me. There are people that I don't even know yet who I have yet to meet who need to meet me or I need to meet them. And I'm not going to give up when I mess up their opportunity because I believe we are alive for a reason. I
Mm-hmm.
think things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so, no, I'm not just going to go punk out and die. No, I'm going to try the best I can because it's my job to do that. And I can do that. I think people forget that we're warriors.
Mm-hmm.
We forget that we are hunters, that we can be strong as we choose to be. We are beautiful, strong individuals. Often we teach ourselves or we're taught to be weak,
Mm-hmm.
to be whatever. That doesn't work for me. We
Mm-hmm.
got to embrace our strength. How can we progress as a people if we, as a nation, if we don't embrace our strengths, stop focusing on what we don't do right, but focus on what we do right, what we can do better at, and how we can help each other. That is my focus always.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I do, I'm always trying to push the ball forward.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's helping people, whether it's designing or anything. And I think that's where I really appreciate this time speaking with you because you've helped me to grow. I love the idea of if you can't defend it, you don't own it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like beyond real. That's real. That's beyond real. It just speaks to this is the truth of the world that you have to go and admit to what it is.
Yeah,
And if you're not willing to protect it, you don't own it.
Yeah, it's what brought me here. Let me ask a couple of questions here. I think we got like maybe 11 minutes, which is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've burned through a lot of time, which is, I think, with a lot of great stuff is happening here. Now, don't show us anything because YouTube actually watches us and we're not allowed to show handle guns while we're live. But I know people, I think somewhere in the beginning, wanted to know what kind of stuff do you carry every day? What's your, what's your concealed carry look like?
A SIG. I would
SIG?
carry a SIG.
Okay.
Because it's small, it's easy to carry, and you wouldn't know I have it. Whereas my Gigi, he carries a Glock, and it's funny. Gigi was thin, right? So I always want to see him. I fly in, he picks me up, the kids, and at the airport, I give him a hug, right? I didn't know he had a Glock. Then he took his shirt off when he went changing. He went upstairs and was changing the boy's diaper, and then it's like, really?
Well, this is the kid you took shooting for the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Now he carries a Glock wherever,
Yeah,
right?
there's an angel out there that got its wings because you brought another gun guy into the world.
But no, I just like carry whatnot because actually.
So you're a SIG guy. You're a SIG. You like SIG. Are you doing the P365, or are you carrying like one of the other smaller concealed carry SIGs or
a smaller concealed carry because I think it's.
Don't show us like I said. But,
in my world, the gun is never far from me. In my world, it's never far from me. I like that. Oh, it's right there. But no, I do because to me, it makes it you don't know I have it. And I like, a concealed weapon should be concealed. No one should ever know you have it. And so and I really am a proponent of that. I don't want anyone to ever know I have. So if I'm in a 7-Eleven and someone comes in there, whatever, unless you come at me, I know nothing. But I carry it because you just never know. I mean, I live in a beautiful neighborhood, in all honesty. And so people walk around at night, at midnight, and women by themselves, white women by themselves. It's a nice neighborhood. That said, you never know what's going to happen when it's going to happen. And for me, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And I think I see women, when I live in Seattle, I see women walking around at night all the time. And I'm a grown man who can defend myself with a Pepsi can, a rock, my fist, or obviously a weapon, a gun, and they just walk around oblivious, or I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not that person, I believe you have to be, because protecting myself means I'm protecting my family. By protecting myself, I'm giving my family the option, opportunity to thrive. So for people out there, when someone asks you why you carry to not to protect yourself, but protect your families and their future. One of my good friends in Brazil, he has a bunch of SIGs because he's a spokesman for 6 Hour, and he keeps a loaded gun right by the bed. And his wife asked him why he did this, and he's trying to explain. And I said next time, JD, next time you talk to her, just tell her that it is my job as your husband to always protect you. That's it. So that's why, because my job, I love you, I cherish you, but my job is always to protect my baby. And so I said, they told me that because he said he got it. And just
lyrics. That's I like that one. It's a combo. Like it's true, but at the same time, it's lyrics. You know what I mean by that? That's how yeah.
It's important. And I just think
it's like you're dropping some R&B.
Oh God, I don't know about that. Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the thing. Let me get this in here. John Crump, he's out of the chat. He's leaving. He's got to go. He says, "Good night, guys. Great job, you two." Big shout out to John Crump. That's how I got to meet Czar here. So I don't know if you could see the chat or not.
No, I can't. Something's going on here. My computer's getting crazy.
Okay, all right. So that's why I got that one out for you. Short Stack Shooter said SIG. Yes, there you go. Awesome. Let me get this question in because someone asked this a little while ago. John Parsons says, I would love to see his studio/shop. Do you have that online anywhere that we could check that out?
No, I can put some pictures on it. But, I can put some pictures on it, but I just don't. Yeah, it's cool shop in all honesty. It's really cool because it's in the old, really old 100-year-old buildings. So
Okay.
it's yeah,
So
maybe I'll post some of those. I
it's
think
always
it's
interesting to see the workshop of an artist. Now, are you a classically trained artist? Did you go to college, get degrees in art and stuff like that, or I
no,
know you
I taught
started?
myself. I
Okay.
taught myself, and what I did is I found people who were the best at what they did,
Mhm.
and then basically I became their apprentice.
Mhm.
The I always what I've learned is that find out someone who's the best at something, and then go and befriend them and learn from them. I I just suck up all the knowledge I can from everybody I can, and that's
Mhm.
one thing I'm really good at. I'll ask anybody for help, and then I'll go and watch them like a hawk and find a way they do something, and then try to find a way to do it better.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
really what I believe. You find a way, just so you can always find a way. You gotta find people who who understand you, who accept you, and you just ask questions. I think people forget that most people who are really skilled, are really highly skilled, they want to share their knowledge with people.
Mhm.
They do,
Mhm.
and people are afraid to ask. So I go, no, no. So bring someone a pie, buy them a
Mhm.
beer, whatever. But then just go say, how may I help you? How can I help you? How can I? Or I would say, how can I be you? How can I become you?
Mhm.
That's a line I used once with someone.
Mhm.
And it developed a relationship because I said, you have a basis of knowledge that I don't have.
Mhm.
And I really want to go and learn from you. And they were honored because I meant it I meant it in a way because I really, I valued them.
It
I
feeds
think
our
as
soul as human beings to share, and I think everyone wants to share. When we leave the world, it's not just we make things in the world, right? We
we
create
do.
things. I think I do. I think you do. I think lots of people do. And those things may live for a long time, but what really lives forever is when you share what you do.
Amen to that.
You
That's
know, I'm gonna share your Instagram with folks, and I'm gonna put it in here. So
put the
it's
website as well, please.
peacetime38. Yeah, I am gonna share the website as well with folks. So here is the I'm following you from my other. I followed you from my main account, and I'm following you from my Stranger Palooza account. Lots of cool things on here that you guys could check out. It's Peacetimes plural Peacetimes38.
Number
Um,
38.
yeah,
Number
I
38.
would really encourage everyone to go check that out. And then I think you said the other place everyone should go, website wise, you want also Peacetimes38?
.com. Number
Yeah.
38.
And then there's also Zaxxr Works where I was running a couple of
Czar
things.
Design
I'm
or
sorry. What the
Czar.com.
I did it again. I got to it. Yeah, I don't know what.
Whatever.
Yeah, Czar Designs. Czar Design. Sorry. Which is Czar.com, and then there's your works and stuff like that in there. Like this. What is this thing? I think this is a bar stool.
Oh, the
Or
one, the bar fight, the one with all the legs going everywhere.
yeah,
It's one of therapy. I love that one. It's like
the
when you've
bar fight.
been by after a bar fight
Yeah,
and you see all the stuff around. Not that
yeah.
I've been by a bar fight. Okay, I
What is that? What
have.
is the material on top? Is that like a? Is that
That is an acrylic resin.
acrylic
An
resin?
acrylic
Okay.
resin, and it
Okay.
has
Very
all
cool.
kind of stuff in it. I mean, that stunk for probably 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2
I can
weeks.
imagine. Okay, let's see. And then
Time, time.
peace times
Plural, plural.
38. Peace times 38. That's where you guys need to go.
And
If you're
if
looking.
someone wants something, they can contact me directly. I'll give them if they're a fan of yours, I'll give them 20% off anything. Anything.
Okay.
If they got to say that I'm a fan of Hank Strange, and whatever the price is, I will adjust it by 20% because they are a fan of yours.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for that. If anyone, this stuff is gonna live here on the channel for a while. There's some really nice things that I see here. So, if you're looking for something cool, that is like, if you're into watches and you're looking for, and you're also into
And
guns,
guns.
yeah, and you're looking for something, you like to collect things that are handmade. I would invite you guys to check it out. Hopefully, we'll get Czar to come back here and hang
I
out
would
with us
love it.
again.
This has been a blast. And
Yeah.
if someone wants something before Christmas, I will get in a plane tomorrow and I will fly it to where they are.
Somebody will
Literally.
test you if you say that.
No, no, I will.
I want to
Of
see,
course,
is this
because,
dude coming out
I
here?
do it all the time.
Yeah.
If they buy a Sao Paulo, that's 10,000. I can give it to them at 8,000. I'll fly them anywhere in the world.
Yeah. You know what I would
that I can get to, that is.
You know what I would like to do, and I don't know if you show anyone this, but I like to do how it's made videos. So this is my podcast channel, my main channel.
There are some videos in the Instagram where Richie Rich and I are working on something. I think, yeah, because Richie Rich and my buddy Richie Rich, we're working on something together. We're milling some.
Where do you make the watches?
I make them in Seattle. I make them right by the water.
Okay.
In a 100-year-old factory.
Is this something that you would ever let someone like myself make a video?
Come on down.
I would love to do that.
I'll feed you.
Oh, I would love to do that. Actually, that would be awesome.
You're welcome wherever, and it's pretty where it's at. And then I'll provide you with a really good meal. If nothing else, I'll always feed people.
Oh,
so
well, if nothing else, I will eat.
Please, I'll do some good food now. I'll do some great food. And some will be healthy, but some will just be delicious. And so, but literally, you guys are invited. This is such a great experience for me, frankly. And first learned about you through John Crump, who's fantastic. You are fantastic as well. Both you and your wife have treated me with such grace and kindness and openness. I'm fans for life.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
If you're ever in Seattle or out in the West Coast or Montana when I'm there, or in South America, I'll always feed you.
Absolutely.
I'm for a great meal, and just you can come out there and just, and I'm gonna try to do something for you anyway, because I really appreciate this opportunity. And just, it's just nice dealing with good, decent people, because often in our daily life we deal with all kind of folks. So it's so enriching to be around just a wonderful, nice person. My gosh, and it's so necessary. So you've really filled my soul.
Yeah. The feelings mutual. I hope if you ever have occasion to be out here in Florida, you'll come hang out with us, or we'll get to hang out. Do you ever go to SHOT Show? There's no SHOT Show next year, but do you ever go to SHOT Show, NRA Show, any of those kinds of things? You ever do that? Yeah.
I would love that.
I'll figure that out. If there's something going on, I'll figure out how to get you there. Hopefully you'll come back on this show and we'll do more things.
I mean, this is such a great opportunity for me to share my work with all your amazing fans, and this is just it's like being on this show is like being at home.
Awesome.
And
that's what we shoot for. Let me get some comments in here before we cut it off. Brick says, good show. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Lola. Good night. Be safe. Short Stack Shooter says, I like Czar. He has a lot of energy, world experience, and positive attitude. She says, you're inspiring. Jerry Parker says he's a really nice guy. Armament and Axes has been sharing the Peacetimes38 link in the chat. And so, yeah, absolutely. I do really want to thank you. I'm going to give you one more chance here. And anyone who's watching right now or later, please take some time out and smash the thumbs ups on this. Maybe share it. I always like to twist things like this and get different, interesting people on. And it's an extra pleasure or bonus that Czar is also into guns. And he understands not just the whole gun lifestyle, but the lifestyle that we live as Second Amendment advocates out there in the world.
Amen.
Tell the folks if there's people looking at this and they want to be able to communicate with you, how can they do that? Do you have an email? Do they go to your social media? How do they communicate with you?
They can go to the website for Peacetimes38.com, and there's a contact page right there, so that's easy. Or they can just go to Czar Designs, that's Zebra, Able, X-ray, Robert Designs at Gmail, and just contact me directly at Czar, Zaxxr, DESIGNS at Gmail, and that's my direct link. They can contact me if they want a special deal. If they're gonna cook me a nice pie, a good pie, by the way. No.
Oh, okay, but you can't be bribed by food.
Of course I can.
Okay. Any special kinds of pie? Is it apple, cherry?
No. I love a pie. Please, if it's a good pie.
Okay.
And don't ask me to share that pie either.
Yeah, there's some people out there that could cook. I have some
No, no, no,
folks
no,
out
no,
there
no,
who
no,
could.
because like, I will trade for food, so
All
I'm
right.
good. But they can contact. And honestly, if someone really wants one of our bespoke watches, the first person who contacts me with a legitimate offer, I can only afford like $2,400 or whatever. If you're nice, you never know, you may get it. Others have. Because I just like nice people. I mean, and if someone is one of your supporters, then now I will always treat them differently than someone else. Because
Thank you.
I'm so honored. And just say I want the Hank Strange discount,
There
and
you
I'll
go.
get it. No, no, and they better be specific. If you don't put it, you ain't gonna get it. So if someone emails me at Czar Designs, ZAXXR Designs at Gmail, and they actually want to watch, and if they want a Sao Paulo, which is now I'm dropping down to 8,000 for strange supporters, strange supporters. I will literally book a flight to anywhere in the country that I don't have to do the COVID restrictions. I'm not going to follow COVID restrictions anyway. Let's keep it real. I'm going to get off the airplane. I'm going to rent a car. I'm going to drive up to your house, and then I'm going to leave. Except I'm going to say, are you going to bring me some food? And then I'm going to leave. But I will get it to you. I think it's kind of fun to have someone. I love to have someone in somewhere in the middle of nowhere saying, okay, yeah. Get it to me, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll get it there.
Yeah. Yeah, make it
I know
happen.
people. I know people, so I can
Yeah.
get there. I know
I'm gonna
people.
stay right there. I'm gonna give one last comment. Actually, maybe two. Michael Avon says it's nice to see something good coming out of Seattle, and shout out to Check Your Six says we need more people like this guy in the world. It's so awesome. Stay right there, Czar. I'm gonna run the end of the show in here, and then I'm gonna come right back and give you the last word. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching us here. Make sure you guys smash the thumbs ups, ring the bell so you can be notified, leave your comments. We really appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you go to hankstrange.com. We're going to rip the audio out of this and put it up on iTunes and all the other places that you listen to your audio podcasts. Czar Llewellyn, did I get it right there?
Yes, you did.
Absolutely. What's the last words that you would like to leave these folks with before we get out of here tonight?
Just be good to each other.
Amen.
We need just be good to each other, and never forget how blessed you are.
Amen. Amen. Thanks so much. Stay right there. We're out of here, guys. I'm going to see you tomorrow. We're only doing Monday, Tuesday, which is today, and tomorrow on the show, and then we're going for our Christmas break. So on behalf of myself and Czar, I'd like to say to all you guys, and you, Czar, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. We'll be back tomorrow.
Feliz Natal.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Yeah, stay right there, Czar. We're out of here. Peace.
Okay.